Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of What If Makeshift joined the Autobots. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So we start this part off with Bulkhead as he returns to the Autobot base to go check up on Miko, and with his attempts failed to get in touch with Wheeljack. And one thing goes in his mind: Jackie's gone, I couldn't find him. To which Ratchet decides to put it into the systems. And soon enough Ratchet detects something. But due to the recent peace, supposedly, Bulkhead is forced to bring some unexpected guests with him. Knockout and Breakdown, whom have just arrived on Earth. And yes, Knockout is there because he has no reason to stay at the warship because Megatron is supposedly back online, but they don't know it's Makeshift. As to which we see the two Decepticons, all for the peace treaty, and Breakdown begins trying to make amends with Bulkhead. Listen, Bulkhead, I know we had our differences, but maybe now it's time we can make anew with this peace treaty going on and everything. After all, we were friends. And Bulkhead says, we're friends. Not after what you did. And especially with one of my friends recently passing. And then Knockout asks Breakdown what happened between you two. Betrayal. Once I heard Megatron's speeches, I did a wrong move. I left my friends completely in the dust for Megatron's cause. And so they find the monument of the Energon Harvester at the construction site. But since it isn't destroyed, the Autobots do have a way to track it. So, with the help of Ratchet, they're able to locate it in a museum and are successfully able to get it and lock it up in the Autobot base, since there's no fighting to be done, really, since both sides are kind of at peace. And so now we get to the episode Speed Metal, where this episode does go the same, like Jack does still use Bumblebee to impress Sierra like he did in canon. And Knockout does pop in, but he doesn't really need to take any humans hostage because things are kind of at peace. So I'd say the only thing that really happens is Knockout does show up. And Bumblebee's like, hey, look at that, it's Knockout. But obviously Jack doesn't understand him. And I can say Knockout does say to Bumblebee, so how would you care for a race, one-on-one, you and me? And I could say Bumblebee does accept these terms, so they both race, but they're within the race. And you know what, for the heck of it, let's just say Bumblebee wins the race. And it does look like Jack won, so he does end up getting Sierra or something. Or, you know, more attention from Sierra to Jack. And since there's no danger, Optimus really never finds out about this whole thing, because he is dealing with another problem. He was at the Decepticon warship when they picked up a Decepticon ship crash land on Earth, to which Optimus, Makeshift Megatron, and RC all went to check it out. And so they reach a ship, to which RC begins getting flashbacks on past trauma, and Optimus Prime and Makeshift notice RC acting strangely. And Optimus Prime begins to get the feeling that they're being watched. And his feelings are correct when Airachnid pops in out of nowhere. So the rumors are true. Autobots and Decepticons are at peace. Optimus aims his blaster. Indeed, Airachnid. And Optimus puts down his blaster. But please join us now. Makeshift Megatron is shocked to see Airachnid, but he goes with what Optimus is doing. Airachnid, I order you to stand down. And RC is like, no, are you two buffoons? She killed my partner. She deserves nothing but death. Airachnid actually begins taunting the three. Oh, Optimus Prime, noble as ever I see. Working with Megatron, your arch nemesis. Or if you even are Megatron. And she just looks at Megatron Makeshift dead in the eye, because she is a real smart bot. And then she looks to RC. And I also heard some rumors about the passing of Cliffjumper. RC's then like, that's it. And then she begins to chase Airachnid. Optimus and Megatron Makeshift follow her, but then Makeshift thinks about something. He turns back into Makeshift and tells Optimus, follow my lead. Meanwhile, Airachnid has RC webbed up and ready to kill her. So, any final words before you join your partners in the Allspark? But RC gets free and begins trying to beat up on Airachnid. And Airachnid, as she's nearly beaten up, she sees something entering her ship. We see Makeshift running in. Airachnid then uppercuts RC and literally runs towards the ship. She enters and sees Optimus Prime. And Airachnid says, "Grr, Prime, I thought you would be smart enough to know not to enter my ship." Everything is not as it seems, Arachnid. And he begins trying to punch at Arachnid. Meanwhile, outside, the real Optimus, along with RC, open fire on the Energon, starting to light Arachnid's ship on fire. And Arachnid hears it and she's like, what? Makeshift, realizing this, shifts back into Megatron, aims his fusion cannon up into the roof and fires it, causing a hole. And then he transforms and flies out. To which Arachnid makes one more effort for escape. She goes and she gets into an escape pod. And Arachnid escapes just as her ship blows up. Makeshift Megatron is like, dang it, I let her escape. And RC is also pretty upset. And Optimus is like, nevermore, she is trapped on Earth now. And soon enough, we will defeat her. As to which RC realizes this and goes up to Makeshift. Thank you. Now, there's nowhere she can escape my wrath. You did good today, Makeshift. You did good. And then Makeshift smiles. And meanwhile, we cut to Soundwave as he flies and lands somewhere and looks around as his scanners detect Megatron's body and it's strong. To which he ejects Laserbeak. Laserbeak flies in through a vent. And lo and behold, it is confirmed to be the Autobot base. Soundwave thinks to himself, excellent. And he orders Laserbeak to find Megatron's body. And soon enough, when he flies into the hangar containment area, he sees Megatron's body behind doors. To which Starscream goes over comms and says if he has the thing. Starscream then comes over comms. Yes, Soundwave, I have it. I'm on my way. He hangs up and thinks to himself, gah, this would have been a perfect opportunity to use this and bring back my own undead warrior. And so Starscream jets off, but not before telling the Viacons to bring the warship to the Autobot base location. Starscream arrives, and then he tells Soundwave that the warship is incoming, that we must get Megatron back to life soon. And so Soundwave nods. Laserbeak flies at Starscream, grabs the Stark Energon shard, and flies into the Autobot base vents. And this is where Ratchet begins picking up multiple Decepticon signals around the base. To which Optimus looks to Megatron. What is going on here, Makeshift? To which Makeshift is like, I'm uncertain. However, Ratchet picks up something on proximity sensors, and the Decepticon warship begins coming into view. To which Optimus and Megatron look at each other. They have discovered you, Makeshift, meaning that they have also discovered that Megatron's body is here. The Autobots begin getting ready to fight, but that is when Optimus says, no. You are all to retreat. I will stay here and face Megatron. The humans are our top priority, and getting them to safety is necessary. To which the Autobots begin to notice he's right. Bumblebee retreats first with Raph, then RC and Jack, then Bulkhead and Miko, and then Ratchet. And then Optimus walks away as we see Makeshift walk at the ground bridge, but he doesn't walk in. We now cut to Laserbeak with the Dark Energon, as he injects it into Megatron's chest, reviving him from the dead. And as he looks around, he wonders where he is. And that is when Laserbeak begins to show pictures updating Megatron on recent events. And Optimus walks in. Megatron, your resurrection will not last. Ah, my old friend. He then tells Laserbeak to go back to Soundwave and commence the firing sequence. And the two have their classic Megatron v Optimus fight. Meanwhile, on the Decepticon warship, Starscream and Soundwave activate the firing sequence. And Megatron pins Optimus down with a big sword, to the point where he is unable to get up. All Megatron does is go over the radio and says, fire. But right as he does, and so they do, Megatron runs and says, farewell, Prime. But Makeshift blocks his path. You're not going anywhere, Megatron. Out of my way, traitor. Unless you wish to join your new friend Prime in the Allspark. We all go together, Megatron. And then the base fully collapses. And soon enough, out of the rubble comes Makeshift carrying Optimus. Not as wounded as he was in Season 3, but he's pretty banged up. And they simply just walk off. And Megatron stands in the rubble of the Autobot base. Oh, Prime, if it weren't for Makeshift, you wouldn't have survived this. But soon, you and your new friend Makeshift will fall, mark my words. And then he leaves. Meanwhile, at Hangar E, Optimus Prime calls Makeshift. Makeshift walks up to Optimus and the Autobots. You saved my life, Makeshift, which I am grateful for that. I did what I felt was right, Prime. I couldn't let you fall at the hands of Megatron. However, is that the only reason you called me here for? No. Makeshift, I wish to welcome you to Team Prime. And that's where I'm gonna leave it off here, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed part 2, and I'll see you guys in part 3.